Hola, muy buenas tardes, ¿cómo están? Les damos las gracias por estar aquí. ¿Sí? ¿No se escucha? ¿Ya? ¿No? ¿Ya me escuchan mejor? Gracias. Buenas tardes, muchas gracias, bienvenidos. Sí, soy Peggy Espinosa, voy a presentar a Katsumi Komagata, que realmente creo que no necesita presentación, muchos de ustedes ya lo conocen. Sí, Katsumi Komagata es artista gráfico, diseñador, autor, tallerista, maestro de universidades. Y es una persona que ha estado siempre, desde hace mucho tiempo, interesado en lo que es el libro para niño y sobre todo crear una escuela para aprender a mirar y comprender el mundo. ¿Sí? Katsumi Komagata nació en Japón en 1953, ¿sí? Estuvo un tiempo en Estados Unidos, ¿sí? En Nueva York trabajó en la CBS y en Nueva York él conoció libros y toda la obra de manera realmente muy profunda de Bruno Munari, Tana Jovan, Leo Leoni. ¿Sí? Cuando nació su hija en 1990, ¿sí? Queriendo crear lazos profundos con ella y sobre todo compartir la aventura de mirar y descubrir el mundo, creó sus primeros tarjetas que luego se convirtieron en objetos visuales y para ayudar a conocer y a comprender, y creó la serie Little Eyes. ¿Sí? Esta serie Little Eyes son 10 cajitas con objetos, con tarjetas de diferentes, que trabajan de diferentes formas. Obtuvo un premio por este trabajo tan interesante en lo que es su trabajo de comunicación visual en la Feria de Bologna en el 2000. Katsumi Komagata tuvo su primera exposición en Francia, ¿sí? 1, 2, 3, y a partir de ahí empezó a trabajar en colaboración, con él empezaron a colaborar las Tres Osas, ¿sí? Que es una asociación de personas, muchas de ellas fueron bibliotecarias, que trabajan la divulgación del libro de artista. Katsumi desde entonces creo que viaja periódicamente a Francia, donde tiene exposición, talleres, y también desde hace mucho tiempo coeditó algunos de sus libros que él ya había publicado con las Tres Osas. ¿Sí? Después de la serie de Little Eyes, él publicó varios libros como Blue to Blue, Yellow to Red, Where the Stars Born y otros libros que seguramente conocen, donde realmente el papel y los recortes son muy importantes. También Lágrimas es otro de los libros. Hacia 2003 trabajó con un proyecto para personas invidentes. Trabajó con Sophie Curtil, que dirigió la colección de arte en juego del Museo Georges Pompidou. Desarrolló el libro Plice Plans, que es un libro rojo impresionantemente hermoso y que nos enseña muchas cosas, que también es para invidentes. ¿Sí? Él, ahorita verán cómo ha sido importante para él trabajar para todas las personas, chicos, grandes, con capacidades diferentes o no. ¿Qué más les puedo decir? Bueno, desde entonces es tallerista, ha dado talleres en muchísimos lugares, Corea, Japón, Madagascar, México, Brasil, España, Francia, muchísimos lugares. Su trabajo como maestro y tallerista con niños, jóvenes, divulgadores, gente que trabaja arte para niños, es importantísimo. Nosotros hemos sido afortunados porque ha venido 5 veces a México, esta es su 5ª visita, él ya les platicará. Estuvo primero en una FILIJ, después vino aquí y ha dejado una huella en nosotros y una sabiduría que estamos muy agradecidos. Y bueno, creo que ya no les digo más cosas, mejor lo dejo con Katsumi porque tenemos el tiempo contado. Muchas gracias, Katsumi, por acompañarnos. Te paso la palabra.
Thank you very much, Peggy. Yo quiero hablar español, pero no puedo. Solo poquito hablo español. So this time I would like to speak English, and then someone is up there will translate for you. Is that okay? First of all, I would like to say thank you very much inviting me here in Mexico. It is great honor, and I really expected to come. But however, knowing the big earthquake happened in last September, and I thought that people here received terrible damages and was difficult to carry out. But finally, the FILIJ is open now, and I was impressed such a wonderful works done by the great effort of everyone. It still remains the people who lost their house, families, and friends. I believe that FILIJ is giving them such a lot of joy with encouragement to release their suffer. I am a graphic designer, and it was happened inspired me to create the books for children when I had my own child. At the beginning, I was not a good father at all, and I had hard time to change the diaper and even putting her in the bus, which was quite difficult for me. However, when my daughter became 3 months old, she started looking at me and she seemed wondering who I am. Mother and baby had good relation because they already knew each other while the baby in mother's womb. But the father is totally stranger. At such time, I made a lot of cards to give some stimulation to her eyes. It reacted in various ways. Then she responded well to the color of black and white as strong construct. In particular, she responded well to a round shape. Generally, mother's breast increased in tension with pregnancy, and the color became almost black. It seems that there is a big eyes on the breast, like this. For babies, mother's breast is very important because foods are there. So therefore, the color became almost black, so that it's easier for them to find, even though their eyes are still weak to see. So this is the first book called First Look. This one. I'll show you the card which my daughter responded well at the beginning. This one. So just a black circle. So when, I put this on my wrist, it looks like that, right? And then I open it up this way, so the shape became smaller and then the waist back gets bigger again. So I worked with different shape like square, triangle, and what about this one? A little square on the right side. And then when I open it out, it extends and then returns to the original size. So you can see the slide over there. When she became 1 year and a half old, she started learning words. One day, I took her walk and make her hold a leaf and told her the word leaf. She could repeat it. Then next day, I did the same thing and told her the color of the green. And she also could repeat it. After a while, I took her walk again, and she suddenly pointed out the leaves and said green. But it was in autumn, so the color was changed into yellow. So I see what happened, that she totally mixed up the name of the things and the name of the color. So I came up with these cards and made them publish what color, which is this one. I show you again. I think you can see red circle in the middle, and then when turn it out this way, it turns to the cherry, right? And then please guess what happened next. It happened to become apple. Blue circle in the middle again. And then it turned out bluebird, and bluebird flying away into blue sky. More. A green turns out leaf, and leaves gathers makes tree like this. So there is 12 primary colors which I brought up for my daughter. I had kept making the cards according to her growth, and one of the publishing company called Kaisesha in Japan made them published, and totally 10 titles came out as a series of Little Eyes. However, you can see here now, such a mess happened. You see, at the bookshop, people, they don't want to put them back. So always mess things happened. So I got pretty bad reputation. And I got a little disappointed. Then I visited New York because I used to live there and working for CBS as a graphic designer. And then there was a MoMA, which is Museum of Modern Art, was just across the street from the CBS. So I always stop by after through my works. So why not to approach the shop of MoMA? And then I made presentation. They really liked them. And then they did a window display while the Christmas time in 1991. And coincidence happened that one of the librarians came from Paris, found my books there. And since then, we have been keeping in touch for more than 12 25 years. In 1994, she set up the exhibition called Katsumi Komagata in Bilbao in France. And this exhibition has been toured to many places and various countries, including Italy, Portugal, Mexico, New Caledonia, and Korea. I would like to present another book here, which titled I'm Gonna Be Born. From fertilization, cell division begins. Eventually, a small life appears. The body grows little by little. Well, it's hard to show. Can you see it? I'm sorry, I'm not good at presenting my books. Well, so anyway, the body grows little by little, and eventually it will feel light and sound as well, and it is finally birth. So now the slide shows the baby is going to be born. So actually the pain that happens for children is a hormone causing pain is made by baby. It is sent to the mother through the umbilical cord, and pain begins in the mother. In other words, from the unborn baby, I am issuing a sign saying I'm gonna be born. They are not passive, they are pretty active, trying to be born themselves. I'm sorry, I forgot to show the slides. Please pay attention to that. This is the beacon code. And the next one, blue to blue, here. The story about the children of Solomon. They were born without knowing their parent and headed for the sea in search of their parent. After various experiences, returning to the river where they were born, then found the presence of parents by becoming parents themselves. Like this. Well, it's not enough, right? Well, another book here. This book is called Tears. And all the page has a tears, which is die cut like this. I hope you can see it here. When my daughter began to attend a nursery school, and one day she cried with a fight with her friend. I asked the reason why, but she didn't answer me. At such time, I was wondering what happened. Her tears dropped down. Then I went to the library to look for about the water. The amount of water was actually about 1.35 billion cubic meters, although the ancient Earth and the present Earth are almost the same. Sometimes it is in the rain, sometimes it in the air, and even as ice. Then they evaporate and circulating. almost 70% of people's body is moisture. Taking age gradually, moisture escapes from the body, so wrinkles can be made, and the body will also become smaller. But my wife gets older, but her face got round, and she moves totally different way. Well, so this means that this moisture completely escape from the body and return to the circulation of the earth again. In other words, if I died, my body's moisture will separate from me, drifting in the air, being absorbed by the clouds and becoming rain, which eventually may become like some other body. Imagine such a thing. No matter how race, ethnicity, language, culture, or religion is different, sadness, suffering, happiness, and joy can be shared. Because of this circulating the earth, so I think that the water is just like a soul and we can share equally for everyone. Well, I was working with my daughter though, but when she became like 50 years old, I remember, she began hating me. She said, I am stink, I'm dirty, and please stay away. So I didn't get any chance to face with her to create the books anymore. But at that time, thank you very much for Sophie Cutel, who works for Pompidou Center in Paris as a director, gave me a chance to work for blind children. I'm sorry, today I didn't have the books, so here is a slide. So these books produced not only for the blind children, but also a book that we can share. The concept is to imagine touching while changing from one shape to another and how it changes. So, like this slide, when you fold it, you can touch like a small square in the middle, and then when you put it out, the big square will come out. And this one, when it's folded out, it's nothing, almost nothing, like hiding. And then when you open it out, the heart will show up. So you see, we sometimes hide our feeling and mind. So that's me, I mean. So next one. This one, little tree. It happens very small, quiet pop-up. Can you see it? Like that? So actually, the tree grows in the book. Yeah? Right. Okay. I received the Special Mention Award of the Ragazzi at Bologna Book Fair with this little tree. However, at the beginning, I started out with totally different concept. While I was working on this project, my uncle, whom I really respect and like him, she got trouble with brain system and became coma for 9 months, and finally he passed away. After his death, I realized his presence is very important, and I regret a lot that I couldn't say thank you to him. So I changed the concept of the book, and I wanted to declare the book to him. So this is a story what happened. Trees grows in the book, and then autumn came. The color of the leaves changed, and more red. And even the weather is bad, the tree is still there. Winter came, all the leaves gone. Cherry blossom. There in Japan, we have a beautiful cherry blossom in April. So if you have chance to come to visit, please choose April. Then another autumn came, and during the Christmas time, they made a decoration with illumination for the tree. Then another winter came, and all the leaves carried away again. And then one day, the tree is gone. But then the seeds carried out to somewhere else, and then it's coming up again. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Next, I forgot change the slides like this, right? Oh, this one. This one, when the sky is blue, sea is blue. This is a small folded book. It will be, yeah, like this. It turns like twisting the page, and each page talks about the color. For instance, why is the snow in white? Then I'm introducing scientific answers to some questions. I cannot tell everything with such a small book though, but I wish children would be interested in it. Even if you say how to study in words, children do not move easily. But even small interests are obviously a trigger. This is another book called A Cloud. When making this book, I imposed restrictions on myself. In other words, it is to refuse all visual effect and to make a book by just die cut only. There is no visual effect, only die cut appears over the page. I don't know if you can see it. Although this was an experimental trial, I could reach a minimal expression and confirmed again from the constraint that an idea was born. This is actually the same method which is done while facing various problems as a designer. So I, again, forgot to change the slides. Like this. Okay. This is another book called When the Sun Rises. These are sketches at the beginning of the book that I made 2 years ago. There are 5% of men have trouble to see in colors. They are not the same and are slightly different. Most of them see the colors. For instance, imagine tomato salad. The red tomato turns to brown, and green lettuce turns to orange, so that they have also problem to distinguish the color of signal and mix up green and red. As myself, at the age of 10 at school, there was a class for drawing project. And I chose a white school building as a motif, but the school building I drew on the canvas became very loud pink. And the teacher worried and gave me the test to check if I can see right colors. Although the result was no problem, but since then I felt that I was not too sure and had complex feeling. So therefore, I take this job to face the colors and try to get it over by myself. Nowadays in Japan, there is no color test because if someone found this color blind, then it may lead to discrimination. However, when they grow and choose their job, there are some limitations happens. For instance, no chance to be a pilot or an architect and more. So I thought, if the book exists and effective to find this color problem, it could be helpful to accept the life for them. I tried to work on this hard and arrange lot of dots with different colors as you see now on the slides. While doing so and looking at the computer, my eyes got stressed and became hard to see it. So I had to give up the progress on this project. But still, I wanted to work with the colors so that I came up totally opposite direction, which shows such a simple concept in color. This is a book titled When the Sun Rises. I had received special mention award in the 2016 Bologna Ragazzi Award. I'm going to read the book. One day, when an endless rain was starting to darken our feelings. Oh no, color, I can't find it. I've left it somewhere. And the fish said, don't be silly. It's under the water, under the wave. And crocodile said, no, it's there in the jungle. Giraffe said, it could be under the orange tree. Flamingo said, it's where the flowers bloom. And polar bear said, color, it's not here. Yeah, sure. But I know I've seen it before. At dawn, when the sun rises, it pours its light onto all living things, making the world overflow with color. And then the elephant again. Oh, here it is, my color. He looked at the mouse. Okay. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. This is a building of Kyushu Hospital. About 10 years ago from now, I had an offer from Kyushu University Hospital that's located in the south of Japan, and I was involved in the work of environmental design at the children's section. The director asked me to create such a comfortable and warm atmosphere for children. When I entered the building, which was still under construction, I immediately got lost because there are 4 large aisles. It looks all the same, even different direction to look. Then I proposed to change the color of the handrails that attached to the wall by the passage. For example, green can be named Olive Street, and indigo blue is Grape Street. Oops. Each room became the address of the town. With the number of the room and the name of the street. So in this way, children and visitors can come easy to find the room. I also developed the pictograms and made it easier for children to find quickly. So this is a shower room. This is the bathroom. Hippo is really relaxing. This is a dentist section. At first, they asked me to put a graphic on the ceiling, but I thought the children who are patient on treatment, they always watch the ceiling. So I thought it's better to have mobiles and move around to make children relax. At first, I proposed a large mobile, like 4 meters wide, but it was too big and disturbed for other equipment. So now 4 mobiles with 1 meter wide are installed, like the slides. I also propose to create a book for children, and I made a small size of book. Why it's small? Because then it could be possible in the pocket of the uniform of doctors and nurses. The story is that animals who misunderstood their own health came to see a doctor. They receive medical treatment and solve the problem by the doctor. Then I project the graphics in the book to the wall so that the children go around with the book to find the place where the graphics appeared. In this way, children could gradually become familiar with the hospital. This is the treatment room. Rather than called by the number of the room, it's much nicer and less fear to call by the name of animal. For instance, please come inside to the room of giraffe. I have held exhibitions so many times around the world so far. In 2011, there was an exhibition offered at the Vasconcelos library here, just here, right? And that year happened was a big earthquake and tsunami in Fukushima, and there were a lot of people died. It reminded me the rainbow that symbolized the last hope of the Noah's Ark in the Bible, and I created a book called After the Rain, which was published by Petra Edition. Peggy is sitting next to me in Mexico, and displayed that image at the exhibition hall as Air Zoo. Like this. It's just over there, 5 years ago. I also proposed the workshop, and the original idea was to make reservation for the participation though, but then the people would be limited. So I proposed to the organizer to accept everyone free and bring the table and chairs to the hall. So the staff at the time did a lot of work for us. At the end, more than 100 people could join us for the workshops underneath the exhibition Air Zoo, like this. When holding an exhibition, I also do the workshop as well as exhibition at the same time. It was happened at my first exhibition in 1994 in France. During this exhibition, the director wanted to know how children respond to my books, and she set up many cards which were folded up and put them in a carton box. A week later, she showed me a lot of cards which were drawn by children, and they were obviously influenced by my books. Besides, there were no commands, and they did just freely. Since that, I have been working on workshop, and I have done so many times and so many places. I realized that we give just small hint, then children get inspired for their own creation. I also try to set up the rules so that children can learn how to follow to the land with fun. This was held in the library of the town of Cascais of Portugal. This was another exhibition in Rome. Excuse me. Also, a workshop space for children was created at that year, and it was celebrating this occasion and holding the exhibition and workshops like this. This was another exhibition at the library in Provence in France. Like this inside. This was Japan, and another exhibition of mine. It looks okay? Thank you. This was Bologna in Italy. Actually, before this year, I could not participate in the book fair because I had an acute leukemia and had to be hospitalized at that time. Then I received a bone marrow transplant and could detach the hospital next year. When I could come back to work, people in Bologna organized an exhibition and congratulated for my recovery. I really appreciate it so much. I would like to speak general talk about publishing. Nowadays, in publishing has been changing a lot. Of course, it is important to be established as commercial publication though, but not only selling is given priority, but also publication has social aspect, such as enlightenment. I have been making books with facing paper up to now. On the other hand, there are digital publishing and video, which are very exciting and generated a lot of potentials. And I will not refuse them, though, but I pay attention more to the other side, which is possibilities of paper. Paper is fragile. If it treated roughly, then it will easily break. These days, around children, there are many convenient tools as mobiles and computer games, and they can reset easily, even they make mistake. The act of resetting is similar to refusing. However, life cannot be reset. It rather gives us to grow by accepting various mistakes. In general, people try to give such a strong materials for children. Of course, if the things are too easy to break up, they are not useful. However, if it is also important for children to learn the things are breakable so that they treat them gently. If the page got torn off by a child, then we can fix by taping or glue. Then child will know to treat gently and not to throw away. People are the same. We are also sensitive and will be hurt. So therefore, we need communication to understand and trust each other. Telling this to children become a command, which is not acceptable for them. However, facing paper and play with joy should have chance to tell this. So that's why I make books and do the workshop by using paper with children. I myself wish to be like a small cloud. I do not aim to become a big cloud. Always think being small. A small cloud is always free, but it seems to disappear easily if we don't pay attention. Therefore, the attitude is important, changing always something new and keep away from sort of stereotype happened around us. We participate in a book fair held in Bologna every year. We have been kept to share the stand called Small World since 2008. Petra edition, next sitting to me, Peggy from Mexico, Lectura from Paris, Tala Books from India, and our One Stroke from Japan have been joined. So imagine that small clouds in the sky moves and gather to become big clouds. I hope eventually can reinforce to the people who need the books as grace of rain. Thank you very much for listening today. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Katsumi, creo que, bueno, en nombre de todos, de verdad, te decimos que es un honor, te agradecemos enormemente que estés aquí, por prestarnos un ratito tus ojos para poder ensanchar la mirada y realmente, ¿no?, también leer un poquito más con el corazón, ¿no? De verdad, muchísimas gracias, Katsumi. Un honor.
Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Me gustó México.
Sí, muy bien. Muy bien. Pues, ¿cómo? Gracias. ¿Tiene alguien alguna pregunta? ¿Algún comentario? They are going to make some questions.
Welcome to Mexico. Bueno, es que no sé qué se le puede decir a una persona como usted, salvo gracias. Realmente ha sido una delicia escucharlo y ver su obra, ver, como nos dijo Baby, ver a través de sus ojos, ver otra perspectiva, la idea que la guía es maravillosa y si nos podemos convertir en agua y así poder ver viéndose en nuestros ojos. A mí no me queda más que agradecerle esta ponencia y observar la maravilla que hace y que tenga este don de compartirla tan fácilmente y el esfuerzo que hace por comunicarse también para ser maravilloso. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Sí, bueno. Hola, buenas tardes. Acá. La de la izquierda.
Buenas tardes. Bueno, yo pienso que esta es una muy buena propuesta, sobre todo por el tipo de materiales que creas, cómo los manejas, cómo los exhibes, todo lo que transmiten. Nosotros, compañías y yo, trabajamos para bibliotecas de centros de maestros aquí en la Internacional de México, perdón. Y nosotros, yo siento que también trabajamos en cierto sentido con propuestas casi de este tipo, no del mismo nivel, pero sí casi con propuestas de este tipo, creando salas infantiles por medio de materiales también un tanto vulnerables, pero muy significativos a la vista, sobre todo de los maestros, como para darles una idea de cómo crear su biblioteca infantil. Muchas gracias.
Hola, buenas tardes. Buenas tardes, maestro. Oiga, una pregunta concreta. ¿Cómo ver el miedo en los aspectos de crear? ¿A qué me refiero? Cuando uno se enfrenta a un hoja en blanco, a un libro en blanco, nosotros de repente tenemos muchísimas ideas, pero ¿cómo usar ese puente para poder llegar a una respuesta como la de usted? Gracias.
I told you that I started out working with my daughter. So to create something is always needs fields. So if we could feel the fields, then the seeds will come out. So we are not doing just on the table and desk and looking at the computer. We always face to the reality. Then the idea will come out. So that's what I believe.
¿Alguien más tiene alguna otra pregunta?
Acá. Buenas tardes.
Gracias.
Maestro, cuando usted empezó a trabajar en sus libros, inspirado en su hija, después de esto, ¿estudió algunas teorías sobre diseño, sobre desarrollo infantil, sobre la teoría de los colores, o solamente se dejó llevar por la intuición y por el amor a su hija?
Before I started working for making books for children, I worked in New York for CBS, and a lot of package design was done for Coca-Cola, tobacco company, many years ago. I had trouble while I was working there because of language. No one speaks Japanese there. Even I can speak English little, but for the presentation, I got a lot of handicap to make presentation equally with them. And then I denied to explain by words. So I used visual contact to make explanation instead. This is very helped. So when I face with my child, I always make her surprised. Then if it gets succeed, she will, pay attention. But if I failed, she never pay attention. She just throw away the card which I made it. So this way, I think I could have the visual contact, even totally stranger, like between us when my daughter was baby at 3 months or 6 months, like that. Is that okay? Thank you.
Maestro, if there are animal you could be, which will be?
Animal?
An animal you could be? If you could be an animal?
If I could be animal,
Yes.
what I want to be?
Yes.
Well, I would like to be bird, baby.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
You are a lovely, beautiful cherry blossom tree for all, for us. Thank you very much. Es un hermoso cerezo
Yeah,
con
muchas
nosotros.
gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Maestro, acá abajo. Down.
Yes.
A mí me gustaría saber qué pasó después con este proceso con su hija, cuando pasó la adolescencia y usted dejó de apestar y de ser el papá incómodo, que todos pasamos por eso. ¿Se recuperó este proceso de creación? Porque ella finalmente
yes.
fue su motor de creación, ¿no? Entonces, what happened next?
Thank you very much. I really appreciate this question. Well, of course, I said to you that we had a bad relationship when she was like 15 years old, but now she became designer and working with me, and also she got married, and she had a baby last year. So every day she brings her baby to my office. So my office turns out now totally nurturing space. So now we got to get along each other very well. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias.
Bueno, pues entonces, aquí se termina esta mesa. Muchísimas gracias. Katsumi, de nuevo, un gusto. Tiene que terminar. Y bueno, damos pasos a lo que sigue.
Thank you very much. Muchas gracias, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you, Peggy.